हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः, भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः, स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः, स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः, स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः, स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं, शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम्। सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। निधये सर्वविद्यानां विषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। तपोभिः क्षीणपापानां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षूणामपेक्षोऽयम् आत्मबोधो विधीयते। So Atmabodh 13th verse. पंच प्राण मनो बुद्धि दशेन्द्रिय समन्वितम, पंच प्राण मनो बुद्धि दशेन्द्रिय समन्वितम, पंचीकृतभूतोत्थं सूक्ष्मांगं भोग साधनम, अपंचीकृतभूतोत्थं सूक्ष्मांगं भोग साधनम। अपंचीकृत भूतोत्थम. So we saw Panch Pranaha, very important aspect to understand Ishvara. Yesterday we saw that because of Ishvara, all knowledge Ishvara, these four biological, physiological activities going on in our body. But there are 5 pranas, so 5th one is called Udanaha. Ud urdhvam nayati iti udana. That which takes this soul, this jiva, above. It brings this jiva out of this body. So it's called udana. So udana is like a rocket. This earth has its own gravitational force. And therefore, any object which goes up comes down. So, to put the satellite on the orbit, first we have to move this satellite out of this gravitational force. And therefore, we all see how they launch the satellite. There is a rocket is there. And though satellite is only few feet, but it needs this huge rocket which takes it above from this gravitational force. Similarly, when Jiva lives in this body, it develops some kind of the asakti, some kind of attachment to this body. And therefore, it's not ready to leave this body. So, this Udana Vayu, which is sitting in the kanta, in the throat here, it does one thing. We saw that any jiva, when it takes the body, there are three things are there. Akruti, Ayuhu, Bhoga. Akruti means that particular shape, a particular type of the physical body, called Akruti. Everyone has a typical human body. So according to our karma, according to our prarabdha, we get this human body. According to our prarabdha only, we have ayuhu, longevity, ayushya. And according to our karmas only, we get the bhoga, enjoyments in our life. It can be pleasure, enjoy, it can be experiences, can be pleasure or sad, sorrowful. Understand? So we get these three things in our life. Akrutihi, ayuhu, bhoga. So, ayuhu means what? We count ayushya with our years, 75 years, 80 years, 85 years, 90 years. Look at this. But our Shastra says it is not according to the years, days, months, though we count that way. Because days and years is according to the earth. But when you go to the Brihaspati, Jupiter, the year of the Jupiter is 12 years of the earth. The year of the Saturn is 75 years of the earth. So the months or days or the year we count on the earth is relative. Therefore, our Ayushya is not count according to the year of the earth. It is counted according to the breath, how many breaths we have in our prarabdha. Understand? That's why I said, swase, swase, smaran, Rama. We don't know how many breaths are there in our prarabdha. And so the breath decides. So who will count? Suppose in prarabdha, this million, this trillion breaths are there. We need to count. This udana is a counting. Breathe in, breathe out, 1. Breathe in, breathe out, 2. Understand this. So it counts. And as in the rocket, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, shoot. Similarly, here also the same thing. Understand? Counts down. So the counting down is going on. This udana is the one who is counting down your breath. So it's fixed. Therefore, when we say this yogi is living from 125 years, it's not that he has a more than 100 years age. They do this kumbhaka. Their breath is very slow. In meditation, their breath gets very slow. So the breathing process is slow, or they will do the kumbhaka. And therefore, from the standpoint of the ear, it looks like they are living longer than other people. And therefore, nobody can cheat Bhagavan, understand? So it is only breathe counting, this udana is there. When the breaths are over, it throws this jiva out of this body. Like rocket throws the satellite out of the gravitational force. Understand? But sometime we experience this udana. When there is a vomiting sensation is there, you feel, we feel like that, like jiva is coming out, because that udana gets activated. When we are sneezing, udana gets activated. So there are few places where udana is active. So this udan vayu, though looks inactive, it is active. And it's in here in the throat, it counts. It's called pancha prana. This pancha prana makes this body live. Whole body is live because of this pancha prana, physiological activity. Once the prana leaves the body, this body is inert body. And therefore, though we think that the gnanendriya and karmendriyas are important, pancha prana also are important. But we are not operating this pancha prana. It is Ishvara who is operating this, because of which we are living this our human life here. And therefore, this pancha prana we have to remember. I always tell people, Pujya Swamiji's very famous thing, Swamiji used to do that. Lap, dap, lap, dap, lap, dap. This heart is, understand, pumping the blood. Lap, dap, lap, dap. Then Swamiji said, lap, 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 dap. That means what? The fellow gets hospitalized. So this heart is pumping. And it's not that now it's pumping. I always ask this question. How long heart pumps the blood? How long heart works? Then everybody answers, as long as we live. No. Not as long as you live, the heart is working. As long as heart is working, you are living. And this heart is working from what? When you were in the womb of the mother, when your heart is only 1 centimeter, it's pumping the blood. See, that's why this pregnant lady, when she goes to the doctor put the stethoscope on the tummy of this lady. Then what he is doing? He's hearing the heartbeats of the baby. The time the heart is being created, it started working. Look at this. It's growing and it's working. It's growing and it's working. Constantly. Not only every breath, every beat of your heart, we should say, thank you, Bhagavan. He's the one who is pumping the whole body, gets oxygen, gets the blood. All our pumps, water, for the water we have the pumps. Pumps get hot. This pump is not getting hot. Working day and night. There was one lady went to the doctor. She had certain heart problems were there. And then she started complaining. And because of the old age, her knees also were not properly working. Heart also not working. So she was complaining, look at this doctor. I have so much problem. These knees are having a pain. Then she said, see, this right knee is giving me a lot of trouble. Then doctor checked it. And as usual, doctor said, Amma, you are already 89, Amma. This knee also is 89 years old, so it can be having a trouble. You are 89 years, from 89 years, you are using this knee. So why you are telling why this pain? So let's say, but doctor, this left one also is 89 years old, but there is no pain in this one. Do you understand? This also is 89 years, but there is no pain in this left one. Only the right one is troubling. We have to see this. How many years we are using this? Body, Swamiji used to tell, everything is given to us. Panch prana, gnan, panch gnanendriya, panch karmendriya, manaha, buddhi, everything is created by Bhagwan. The instruments are given by Bhagwan to transact in this world, to enjoy this world. It's everything is given. Body is given, eyes are given, ears are given, parents are given. Sun, moon, fire, air, earth, everything is given. We need to have value for them. Water is given. Unless we value this, we need to appreciate. We need to acknowledge. Look at this pollution. Pollution means what? We are disrespecting Bhagwan. It is not we are polluting earth, we are polluting water, we are polluting air. We are disrespecting Bhagwan. He has given this drinking water to us. He has given this ocean. This earth is a rare. So many scientists, so many cosmologists, so many astronauts, all this, they are searching for another earth. They have not found any earth because it has to have from its central star the particular distance. It's called habitable zone. Not only that, there should be enough water for the life to survive. Not only that, this water is in 4 forms. Liquid form also is there. Vapor, which is the cloud, that is also there. Ice also are there. Solid, ice means solid. And snow means it's like a powder. That's why they call hema. Hema means there is a snow. It's a powder. Crystals are there. So all these 4 forms of water is available on this earth. And therefore, the life, it's sustaining the life. We should value the water. We should value the air. We should value everything. The Sukshma Sharira is given to us. This gross body is given to us. Though it is according to your karma, but the karma phala data is Ishwar. You have only say over your actions. Karmani evatavade ma phaleshu kadach. Ishwara is the karma phala data. He is the one, according to your karma, he is the one who is giving you this body. We need to appreciate that. He is the giver. Everything is given to you. And more we appreciate Ishvara and the form of the giver. Karma phala data. See, we worship Bhagwan. We do puja. We celebrate Janmashtami. We celebrate Ramanavami. Good, it's good. But we need to appreciate this karma phala data, Ishwar. I'm working on that. That different manifestations, different forms of Ishwara is there. He is the creator. He is the sustainer. He is the destroyer. Not only that, he is a karma diksha. He is the karma phala data. So, through these 2 bodies, this gross body and the Sukshma body, the subtle body. We need to appreciate that it is given to us. Karma sanchidam, though it is given according to our karma, but somebody is there who has created this body. Swamiji's guru, Swami Taranandji Maharaj. I'm sure Swamini Amma has met Swamiji, Swami Taranandji. Very quiet Swamiji. And speaking Hindi, he didn't know English. So few of us, like me, then Brahmaprakashanandji, Nagpur, Aatmabodha, Hyderabad, we used to go and talk to him. So when I started this Vedanta teaching, so that time people go for the miracles. We love miracle. And so people are more for the miracle, not for this Atmagnanam, Brahmagnanam, knowledge. So I just started teaching in 2-3 years. And I used to go and see him. So I went there and he asked me how classes are going on. I said, Swamiji, everything is fine. But people are more for the miracle. They want some kind, suddenly something should happen. They look for the miracle, not for the knowledge. So then I thought he will say something positive what I said. He said, do you know what is the biggest miracle in the world? I was talking something against miracle and he said, do you know what is the biggest miracle in the world? I said, no. आप जानते हो सबसे बड़ा चमत्कार क्या है? So I didn't expect that kind of question. So I said, no, Swamiji, I don't know. Then said, listen to me. I'm telling you, this is the biggest miracle. I said, there is a one drop of water, another drop of water mixed with it. It started growing. It becomes the bulb. Then it is growing. Then 2 hands and 2 legs are coming out of it. Heads is coming out of it. Heart is pumping. Hands are there. Legs are there. In 9 months, these 2 drops of the water becomes a baby. And in 20 years, it becomes 6 feet tall man. That is the miracle. Look at this. It's so beautiful. And this is called miracle. Just one egg and one sperm become the 6 foot tall human being. Look at the miracle. It's beautiful. Swamiji used to tell that the maximum miracle is this human body. The way heart is pumping, the way lungs are working, the way eyes are working. It's beautiful. So, through this Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, we understand what this Ishvara is. It's not only simply, okay, this is gross body, this is subtle body. Look, okay, Amma, what is next? Not what is next. Understand properly this. This is what it is. Beautiful. This is the creation. With these 5 elements, this body is being created. With these 5 elements, this entire universe is created. That's why this body is called Vishwa, this entire universe is called Virat. This mind, this Sukshma Sharira is called Taijasa. The entire Sukshma Sharira is Hiranyagarbha, total. Like in your body, blood cell is a singular one, individual. And this entire body for the blood cell is Hiranyagarbha, total. They say in this body, there are more than 250 types of the cells are there. Though the genes are one, same. Pair of the genes are same. But the same gene is manifested in different types of the cells. It's amazing creation. So through this gross body, through this subtle body, we can see that how Ishvara is functioning in our life. Through Pancha Prana, he is functioning. So this is called gross body, this is called subtle body. Now, the third body in the 14th verse, Adi Shankaracharya is describing what is the Karana Sharira, causal body. Because of what? We get this gross and subtle body again and again. It's called Karana Sharira. We'll read the verse. Anadya Vidya Nirvacha, Anadya Vidya Nirvacha, Karanopadhiruchyate, Karanopadhiruchyate, Upadhitritrayadanyam, Upadhitritrayadanyam, Atmanam Avadharayet, Atmanam Avadharayet. Anadi, this all sandhi is there. Anadi Avidya Anirvachya. Karana Upadhi Uchyate. This Karana Upadhi, the causal body, is made up of these three things. It is made up of avidya. And this avidya is two types. So there are three words are here. Anadi, avidya, anirvachya, karana upadhi uchyate. This avidya is what? Anadi avidya. Avidya is ignorance. There are two types of the ignorance. Paravidya, aparavidya. Similarly, para avidya, para, apara avidya. We are not knowing the self, we are not knowing this world. But this avidya, the ignorance, what is the type of the ignorance? Anadi avidya. Lot of people they ask, Swamiji, you say karma sanchitam. Their accumulated sanchita karmas are there. Then Swamiji, what is the first action? What is the first body? Because to have this human body, we need karma. But because of this human body only, we create the new karma. So where first is human body or first is the action, karma? First is the bija or the vriksha? Seed is first or the tree is first? Egg is the first or the hen is the first? Understand? Similarly, there should be a first human body so we can create the new karma. But to have a human body, we need to have a karma. So what is the first one? A lot of people ask this question, this common question. Another thing is when we say ignorance, when ignorance started? So Shankaracharya says, there is no starting point of ignorance. Adihi means beginning. Anadihi means that which doesn't have the beginning. Anadi avidya. Why? In our Shastras, they say, there are 5 things are there which are not begun at the particular period of time. It is there from day one. Avidya. One is avidya. Anadi avidya. There is no beginning of the avidya. Avidya is there. But there is no beginning of avidya. Because avidya is beginningless, therefore, this jiva also is beginningless. Jiva also is anadi. Understand? This maya, this prakriti also is anadi, beginningless. Ishvara also is anadi. There is no beginning of Ishvara. Though we celebrate Ram Janma, we celebrate Krishna Janma, but Ishvara is not born. Understand? Beginningless. And Brahman also is Anadi. Anadi Nirgunatvat. Brahma, Ishvara, Prakriti, Jeev and Avidya. These five are Anadi, beginningless. You cannot say this is the time it is being started. It is being created. Then why do you say beginningless? Why do you say Anadi? There is a logic. Suppose I say there is a beginning of the ignorance. Then what is the beginning? Beginning means you create something. There was no pot, now you created the pot. When you say you created the pot, that means what? The moment it is being created, the moment before it is being created, there was no pot. Right? Then only it's called beginning. There is a clay and now there is a pot. So there is a beginning of the pot. Pot is created. But anything which is being created, when we say the moment it is being created, before that there was absence of the pot, right? We have to accept that. The moment before the creation of the object, there was absence of the object. Then only we can say there is a creation. Now, if you say avidya is being created, that means what? The moment before the creation of the avidya, ignorance, there should be no ignorance. There should be absence of ignorance. Then only there is a beginning. But if you say there is absence of ignorance, then what will be there? Vidya. There can be only two, whether it is vidya or avidya, understand. If there is no avidya, then there should be vidya. If there is a vidya, avidya cannot be created. Do you understand the logic? And therefore, avidya is not having a beginning point, called anadi avidya. It's there. We are experiencing this avidya. We are experiencing ignorance. But there is no beginning point. And therefore, Shankaracharya says, this karana upadhi is what? Anadi avidya. That means karana sharira also is what? Anadi. Karan Sharira is because of the Anadi Avidya, and therefore Karana Sharira also is Anadi. If Karan Sharira is Anadi, then Jeev also is Anadi. Okay. But how can I understand this Avidya? Shankaracharya used very beautiful words called Anirvachya. Vachya means that which can define clearly. It's called Vachya. Which can be described clearly. It's called Vachya. But this, see, Nirvachanam, therefore it's called Nirvachanam, means you clearly explain something. You clearly define something. It's called Nirvachanam. But this avidya is what? Anirvachya. Why? Sadasarda bihi vaktum ashakya. You cannot say avidya is sat. You cannot say avidya is not asat. Look. Sadasadvyam anirvachani. When we already saw, you are self-effulgent, self-existing consciousness. And that consciousness you are, that consciousness which illumines the knowledge, which illumines the ignorance. We already saw. You are the one who is illumining the light, who is illumining the darkness. You are the one who is illumining the knowledge. You are the one who is illumining the ignorance. Therefore, from the standpoint of the consciousness, when we say, there is no ignorance, because you are conscious being. You cannot say there is ignorance. Why? Because when everything is one non-dual consciousness, where is ignorance? Logically, you cannot prove ignorance because you are self-effulgent consciousness. So, from the standpoint of self-effulgent consciousness, which is illuminating everything, which is objectifying everything, so where is the question of ignorance? But we experience that. Though I am conscious being, I am all-pervasive consciousness, but still I experience, I don't know. So we are experiencing this ignorance. See, this is called biggest contradiction in our life. Though you are self-effulgent, Swatasiddha Swaprakash Chaitanya Swarupatma, still you are thinking, I am ignorant. You are all-pervasive Atma, still you think, I am small, I am limited. Though you are Ananda Swarupa, don't use word bliss, understand? Happiness. Though you are happiness, still we feel sadness, we feel sorrow, we feel frustration. This is the contradiction. Though you are self-effulgent, you think I am ignorant. You are Ananda Swarupa, I am sad. So how is it possible? In Brahma Sutra, that is what Shankaracharya proved, that there is no possibility of ignorance. From the standpoint of the consciousness, there is no possibility. Like from the standpoint of the sun, there is no darkness. Sun is spreading its light all over. In the sun, there is no darkness. Similarly, in self-effulgent, self-existing consciousness, there is no ignorance. And still we are feeling, we are experiencing this ignorance. And therefore, it is called anirvach. You cannot prove it is, you cannot disprove it. And therefore, it is anirvachya. You cannot say this is avidya. Because you are the one who is the knower of the avidya. Suppose if I ask you, do you know Russian language? Swamini, I don't know. That means what? You have a knowledge of the ignorance of the Russian. You have a knowledge of ignorance of science. You have knowledge of ignorance of astronomy. So you are this consciousness he is the knower of the ignorance, knower of the knowledge. And therefore, you cannot prove ignorance. Though it is another ignorance, you cannot prove this is ignorance. Understand? Anirvachya. And if ignorance is anirvachya, and everything is born of because of this ignorance only, avidya, kama, karma, this is Shankaracharya's word. There is ignorance of the self is there, not knowing the Swarupa of the Ishvara, not knowing the Swarupa, the nature of the self, we conclude something else. Pujya Swamini used to tell that human being is ignorant. Cow also is ignorant. Karana Upadhi everywhere is there. Cow also is Karana Upadhi. Dog also is a Karana Upadhi. Understand? But dog doesn't have any problem. Cow doesn't have any problem. The problem is with human being. Why? Because human being is what? Self-aware person. That's the, and this is the self-awareness which makes us feel like I'm an ignorant, I'm useless. Cow doesn't think I'm useless. Cow doesn't think I am beautiful. I am not beautiful. Because of the Swaswabhana, Sanskrit called Swasabhana, self-aware. And that self-awareness start with this eyebrow and hair, understand? That's why all this beauty parlor is going on. Whole cosmetic is running because of what? Because of your self-awareness. Cow doesn't go to the beauty parlor. Oh, I'm black. Can you have some cream for me? Dog, it doesn't have. They are happy the way they are made. Only human being is unhappy. Always complaining. Why? Self-aware. Once Swamiji went to Canada, so many years before. So there was a one doctor, dentist. She organized these talks and then she invited Swamiji to Canada. So the dentist, the person, the doctor. So he invited Swamiji. So Swamiji was at the dentist place. And they had a lot of money, and so the beautiful house was there. Beautiful carpet and sofa and very luxurious. So doctors earn a lot of money, and so he had this dentist at a very good house. So one lady came to listen to Swamiji. He had a huge hall, so he didn't hire any hall or temple hall. In his house only, he organized Swamiji stuff. Then there was one lady regularly coming. So one day she said, Swamiji, please come, please bless me and come to my place, have a bhiksha. Then Swamiji asked this dentist and said, Swamiji, no problem. I can take you, or if she wants to take you, she can take. Then she said, no, I will come. I'll pick Swamiji and then I will take him to my place. Then dentist said, okay. So Swamiji went to her place. That her place was much more luxurious than what this dentist had. This is true story. Swamiji couldn't believe, the way the house was. Swamiji didn't say anything. He was sitting there. Then she served food to Swamiji, and then all of them had some food, and then they were sitting and having satsang. That was Swamiji's routine. After lunch, he will sit for half an hour, 1 hour for satsang. Anybody has any question? Then they were sitting there. Then, as usual, Swamiji asked, are you having a business here? She said, no, Swamiji, not any big business I have. So those days, it was a little shame for her to tell. Now there is not. Then Swami said, what are you doing? How are you earning? Then she was shy to tell Swamiji. Then Swami said, it's okay, tell me. Swamiji, I am having a beauty parlor. Really? Yeah. So through beauty parlor, you are earning this money? She said, yes, Swamiji. I have a huge beauty parlor. And then I have hired people for certain things. Main things I am doing in this beauty parlor. Certain regular things, my people do I have hired. I have 25 seats are there. I earn money. Just a minute. Then Swamiji said, look at this. Because of this self-awareness, we get into this complex that this lady running beauty parlor and having this big house. Understand? Because of what? Self-awareness. Non-acceptance of the eyebrow, non-acceptance of the hair, non-acceptance of the skin, non-acceptance of the nail. Understand? So much non-acceptance. Cow doesn't have, Swamiji used to tell this thing. If the cow's horns are like this, we say, oh, it's beautiful. But suppose it's like this, then we say, oh, this is ugly cow. Cow doesn't think I am ugly. I will go to the beauty salon and get cut this my horn. No. We human beings are self-aware. Being self-aware, we can't stand this ignorance. Though we can't stand ignorance, we cannot prove ignorance. In 13th chapter, Kshetragyam Chapimam Vidhi Sarva Kshetre Subharata, there Shankaracharya has this huge discussion. Atma is a self-evident self-consciousness, understand? Self-effulgent. So there cannot be possibility of the ignorance in the Atma because it is a Swatasiddha Swaprakash Chaitanya. And buddhi is made up of Panch Mahabhuta. It is a Sukshma Sharira. It is Jada. It cannot have ignorance also. Jada Vastu mobile cannot tell I am ignorant. Understand? It is inert. So buddhi also is a Sukshma Sharira made up of 5 elements. So there cannot be ignorance in the buddhi. There cannot be ignorance in the consciousness. So then there was a person asked, Kasya Vidya. Then this avidya belongs to whom? Kasya Vidya. Because you cannot prove. Anirvachya. It is you cannot prove. It is not also you cannot. Then ignorance belongs to whom? Shankaracharya answered, excellent. Prashtu whoever, one who is asking, ignorance belongs to him. Anirvachya. Ignorance cannot be proven. Still it is there. That's what Shankaracharya says. Anadiya vidya anirvachya. See, that's the biggest contradiction in our life. Being a self-evident consciousness, we feel I am ignorant. That's what Shankaracharya says. Anirvachya. You cannot prove it. You cannot prove it. You cannot dismiss it. Not only that. This avidya only creates problem. We don't know the nature of the self. I am is known to Sat and Chit is known to you, but the Swarupa, the nature of the self is not known to you. And therefore what happens? I don't know. I am limitless consciousness. So I decide I am limited. I am limitless. And being self-aware, what happens? I want to get rid of these limitations. There are 3 limitations are there called parichinna. Kala parichinna, martyaha, mortal. Desha parichinna, limited by space. I am in this body, I am not outside the body. And limited by the vastu, objects. I am human body, I am not dog. I am not wall, I am not. Look, what you are not is much bigger than what you are. So these 3 limitations we are experiencing because of the ignorance. Limited by time, limited by space, limited by object. Desha kala vastu parichinna. And then what? We cannot stand it because that's not the nature. See, any object, try to be what it is. Jalam, when we say, water, when we say, the nature of the water is Shitaha. By nature, water is what? Shitaha. Cool. It is cool by nature. Fire is hot by nature. So fire cannot say, oh, I'm tired of this heat. Fire never gets tired of its heat because that's the nature of the fire. By nature, water is cool. Shitaha. Now, if you heat the water, understand, then what happens? Fire enters in the water and water is hot. You leave the water as it is. What will happen? Slowly it gives up the heat. Why? Because it's not its nature. It cools down. Because cooling is the nature of the water. It gives up. So anything, any object, whether it is an inert object or sentient object, cannot stand other than its own nature. Same way, this human being, by nature you are Sat, you are Chit, you are Ananda. So you cannot stand it. And therefore what happens? You try to get rid of it. I myself have decided I'm limited by time, I'm time bound, I'm mortal. But that time bounding, that I cannot stand it. I cannot stand the death. I cannot stand the unhappiness, sorrow. I cannot stand the ignorance. It's called fundamental problem. Understand? This Karana Upadhi means our fundamental problem is there. I am mortal, I am ignorant, I am unhappy. So we cannot stand it. Because we cannot stand it, what we try to get rid of it. And that's why we do action. There is a desire, avidya, kama, karma. I cannot stand this because of the ignorance. I desire to be immortal. I desire to be knowledgeable. I desire to be happy. And that desire forces me to perform the action. Avidya, kama, karma. And that action I am performing, because of performance of the action, what happens? There is a papa and punyas are there, which gives me the birth and death. So this is a whole cycle of avidya, kama, karma, janma, mrityu. And it's called karana upadhi. We constantly, we are born and we are gone. We are born and we are gone. And what is the cause? The causal body is this Karana Upadhi, Anadi, Avidya, Anirvachya. It doesn't end. Because the main reason for my to be unhappy, main reason for my to be being mortal, my being ignorant is what? This Avidya. And as long as this Avidya Devi is there, I cannot be happy. I cannot be immortal. I cannot be knowledgeable. Do you understand? So, this book is the fundamental problem. But as long as this Karana Upadhi is there, there is no way we can get out of this cycle. Avidya, Kama, Karma, Janma, Mrityu. We keep on doing this. And therefore, it's Anirvachya. There is no end of it. But there is another thing is there. As I say, fire never resists the heat, because heat is the Ushnata, is the nature of the fire. That means what? Now take it other way. Whatever I resist or whatever I don't accept, cannot be my nature. Correct? I don't like mortality means what? It's not my nature. I don't like ignorance. That means it's not my nature. I don't like sadness. I don't like sorrow. It's not my nature. Understand this? Because I myself is opposing it. I'm resisting it. And therefore, it cannot be my nature. That means what I like is my nature. What I don't like is not my nature. I like mortality. That's my nature. I like knowledge. That's my nature. I like to be happy. It's your nature. You are Sat, you are Chit, you are Ananda. Understand? That's your nature. That's what you like. Then question them, if it's my nature, how come I don't know? Anadi avidya. Understand? That's why by this Karana Upadhi, Shankaracharya is pointing out that your problem, day-to-day problem is not the problem. Your problem is this Karana Upadhi, avidya. You don't know the true nature of the self. That is what is making you unhappy. That is what is making you performing so many actions. That is what is making you going into the cycle of death and birth. That means we don't need to address this day-to-day life problem. We have to address this problem called Karana Upadhi. It is avidya. Because of this avidya, all these problems are. Once the avidya is gone, Atmani eva atmana tushta sthita pragyastadochyate. Once you know the true nature of the self, with the same body, with the same situations, you are happy. Because there is no ignorance. So, Shankaracharya is pointing out that our problem is this anadi, anirvachya, avidya is the problem. It's a cause. That's why it's called causal body. And until and unless we address this causal body, nothing is going to change. I always tell people, as many yogasana you want to do, you do. As many pranayam you want to do, you do. Whatever shirshasana you want to do, you do. Whatever meditation you want to do, you do. Whatever bhakti you want to do, you do. But if this ignorance is not being removed, it's same. But to understand this, to address this ignorance, we need bhakti. We need appreciation of Ishvara. Because it is because of the grace of Ishvara, we get this. See, as we have a Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Dattatreya Upadesha is called Avdhuta Gita. Very beautiful book, Avdhuta Gita. The first sentence of this Avdhuta Gita is Ishvara Anugrahadeva Pumsam Advaita Vasana. Because of the grace of Ishvara only, we get into this Vedanta, Advaita Vasana. We are listening to this Aatmabodha. Shankaracharya has written this Aatmabodha and it has reached us here today. Grace of Ishvara. We are studying Aatmabodha, grace of Ishvara. I am talking to you, grace of Ishvara. You are listening to me, grace of Ishvara. You are understanding me, grace of Ishvara. Understand? Every step, there is a grace of Ishvara. We need to appreciate that. That we are listening to this Aatmabodha means what? We don't need any more grace from Bhagavan. This grace is there. Understand? Ishvara Anugraha Deva Advaita Vas. This vasana means there is a tendency to understand the avidya. We have a tilt towards this avidya because of grace of Ishwar. We need to appreciate Ishwar. And therefore, Shankaracharya is telling that all this is there because of this ignorance, karana upadhi. All our problem is this karana upadhi. We need to remove this ignorance. As long as this avidya devi is there, see, that's what in Kathopanishad Yamaraja says. Whatever you do, how many actions you are performing, how many tapasyaryas you are doing, how much knowledge you have, everything is there. But where are you sitting? Avidyaya mantare vartamanaha. Sitting with this ignorance of the self. Whatever you do, panditam manyamana. A lot of people, they think, I am scholar. So much ego is there, so much ahankara is there. But sitting where? Avidya. Not removing the self-ignorance, the fellow thinks I am Pandita. Drandramyamadaha parayanti mudaha. Look at Drandramyamada. Punah, again and again, getting into the body and leaving the body, getting into the body and leaving the body. That's the life we are living. So, Shankaracharya, Karana Upadhi Uchyate. This is the cause for our unhappiness. This is the cause for our mortality. This is the cause of our ignorance. So, what we need to address is this ignorance. The same thing in 5th chapter, Gita also, Bhagavan said, Agnanena avrutam gnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. So, we understand this. Already in the beginning we saw, Pakasya vahnivad gnanam vina mokshana siddhyate. As for the cooking, the fire is the main cause. Similarly, without the self-knowledge, moksha is not possible. So if we want to have a liberation, moksha purushārtha, what we need is, we have to remove this karana upadhi, we have to remove this ignorance. And how are you? Avidya is the problem, the solution is vidya. Agnanena avrutam gnanam, then that means what? Gnanena tu tad gnanam nashitam atmanaha. The part ignorance is destroyed by the part knowledge. Similarly, Atmanaha gnanam, Atmanaha gnanena nashit. The self-ignorance is to be destroyed by the self-knowledge. Therefore, in the beginning only Shankaracharya made this clear, that if you want to have a liberation, you want to be happy, you want to be immortal, the knowledge is the only solution. Rest, whatever you want to do, you do. But we have to develop this necessity, nishchaya. We have to develop this nishchaya. That nishchaya has to be there in our life, that I want to remove this ignorance. Because ignorance is the problem for my life. So that means what? Now this mumukshu becomes the jignasu. One who has a desire, one who is desirous of liberation, now he becomes desirous of knowledge. Because this karana upadhi is there, I am unhappy. Now, to remove the ignorance is important in our life. Rest is all understand. That's life. Everyone has their own life. Everyone has their own destiny, prarabdha. But the goal of the life is this knowledge, because as long as this karana upadhi is there, no way you can be liberated. And therefore, in the next line, Shankaracharya says, Upadhi Trayad Anyam Atmanam Avdharayat. And therefore, may you decide, may you conclude, Avdharayat. What? Atma is what? Upadhi Traya Anyata. Atma is neither gross body, nor subtle body, nor causal body. Atma is Anya, other than these three bodies. So we need to decide, we need to conclude, I am not gross body, I am not subtle body, I am not causal body. I am the one who is illumining, I am the one who is giving the substratum to this. Satta Spurti Pradhan. So therefore Shankaracharya says, it is you have to decide, understand. Guru is great, doesn't make you knowledgeable, understand. Avadhariye, Shishya has to decide, sister has to conclude. Yes, I am that Satchidananda. Avadhariye. You have to decide, yes, I am self-fulgent Chaitanya, consciousness. Once you understand the true nature of the self as Satchidananda, all these actions, janma, birth, unhappiness, conducive situation, non-conducive situation, family, everything is gone. Therefore, avadhare, may you conclude that you are other than these three bodies. Once you understand that you are other than this body, but that to understand that what we have to do? Knowledge is required. And therefore, we'll see later too. Any question? No. I am only telling myself, no question. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrutyorma Amrutangamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Hari
Hari Om Mama.
Hari Om
Hari Om Mataji.
Hari Om everyone. Namaste to everyone.
Hari Om Swamini.
Hari Om.